Wicked hot, a scorcher, a heat wave. All words used to describe today's hot weather, but here's another one. Dangerous. Thanks for joining us, everyone. I'm JC Monahan.
And I'm Glenn Jones. Today's heat was history-making in Boston. The city hit 102 degrees, which has never happened before in the month of June. Never.
We're spending a lot of time on the heat, and here's why. In the U.S., the weather event that causes the most deaths is heat. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, heat kills, on average, 183 Americans each year. That's more than floods, tornadoes, hurricanes, lightning. Heat also has the power to exacerbate pre-existing health conditions, leading to indirect deaths that can't always be linked specifically to the weather, but we know there's a correlation.
So with global temperatures rising, summers are getting hotter and heat waves are becoming more common. With that in mind, let's bring in First Alert meteorologist Dennis Brown. DB, I like the summer.
Me too.
I don't like this.
This is a lot.
This is a lot.
All at once, especially when you're in direct sunlight. It's really tough to be outside for an extended period of time. So, yeah, we're not the only ones. Yeah, it's very dangerous, and we're not the only ones dealing with extreme heat. We've been seeing it across New England, but really across the eastern seaboard. We have a lot of numbers here when you talk about how about the high temperatures, record highs. Not only in Boston, 102 today, that old record 95 degrees, but New York City at 100 degrees, Philly at 101, Raleigh at 100, and 97 degrees in D.C. So we're not the only ones feeling it. Eventually, we will get a bit of a cool down, but it's going to take a couple more days to get there. But as we look at the temperatures, you'll see outside right now, those numbers at 99 degrees. That's at Logan. It feels like it's 103 with the west wind at 15 miles an hour. Here's the deal. You'll see the feels like temperatures out there. 103 in Boston, 103 in Lawrence. We've got 103 in Bedford. We've got 102 in Norwood, 100 in Plymouth, and even 105 in Portsmouth. So it's going to take a few more hours for these temperatures to go down a bit. That's why we still have that extreme heat warning that continues until about 8 o'clock tonight for much of our area in those pink shaded areas. So just understand, even after 8 o'clock, the numbers. Look at 10 o'clock. It's going to feel like 93 right in Boston, 92 toward 11 o'clock tonight, and right at midnight about 90 degrees. Overnight, those feels like temperatures in the 80s. And even for tomorrow, the heat will continue, but it won't be quite as hot for a lot of us. We have a heat advisory in place for many areas. It does not include Boston, but it does include many of our inland areas with feels like temperatures up to 101. So still practice what we've been talking about. Drink the water, take breaks, find shade, and find cool places to be going through the afternoon.
Speaking of that, you guys remember the lyrics. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. And
right.
it's a real thing because the urban heat island effect is real, right? It's a menace
and that's kind of what we will experience this evening with the heat being trapped there because of the asphalt. And so it's not going to be escaping out of the atmosphere very quickly and very soon. So we're going to take several hours for it to really cool down, but still going to be pretty steamy because of that urban heat island.
All right. Dennis, we'll be checking back in with you. Thank you. All right. With heat like this, you may be tempted to hit the beach. Just be careful.
Oscar Margain is in Revere with what officials are warning about this summer's hot temperatures and hot tempers.
Yeah, people are flocking to Revere Beach in this latest stretch of heat. And as we know, over the years, we've seen a number of fights and flare-ups between groups of people who are out here to try to enjoy this part of the city. Now, officials say they're going to be increasing patrols and cracking down on bad behavior. And that warning also goes for those who are riding motorcycles and mopeds recklessly, whether it be doing wheelies or breaking traffic laws. Now, just yesterday, right over here in front of the police barracks, we know of this one trooper that was hit by a teenager riding a motorcycle, sending that trooper to the hospital with a broken pelvis. A city spokesperson tells me police are going to be more aggressive in enforcing these traffic laws and are making a call to people to just chill a little bit more during these hot days. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Oscar, thank you. Can you imagine being a firefighter working in this heat? You've got all that gear on, not to mention the intense heat generated by the flames. In Norfolk this morning, a house fire on Main Street proved to be a challenge. We're told one firefighter was taken to the hospital while another 3 were treated for heat exhaustion at the scene.
Yeah, emergencies don't take a break. As a matter of fact, there could be even more in these kind of hot temperatures. In other parts of Massachusetts, there were some businesses that decided to close early because of the extreme heat. One of them is Carmela's Market over in East E. It shut down around 3 this afternoon because of the temperatures and staffing shortages.
It's been tough. You know, we have an older store here that doesn't have much AC. We're working on it.
He adds that even though he knows shutting down early affects them financially, he'd rather worry about his employees' safety and health as well as his customers.
Well, if you call this heat unjust, This sort of fits. The district courts in Quincy and Chicopee had to close early at 1 this afternoon due to issues with the cooling systems inside. No justice at those courthouses this afternoon.
So when we talk about renters or people who lease, they do have rights when it comes to what the landlord is responsible for. So I went on mass.gov today. I didn't find anything in the tenants' rights section about cooling, just heating. Take a look, because this is from the website. The landlord must provide a heating system in good working order. The landlord must pay for the heat unless your lease requires you to pay for it. From September 16th to June 14th, every room must be heated to at least 68 degrees between 7 a.m. and 11 p.m. But again, no state law that requires landlords to provide cooling units during this hot weather, which means it's upon all of us to figure out ways. It's each for their own in trying to find ways to stay cool.
And you mentioned right off the top how life-threatening the heat can be.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right, in Salem, firefighters let the hoses run on kids so they could cool down today. They tell us whenever we have a heat stretch like what we're experiencing now, they try to be good neighbors and help out the community. The kids had a blast getting sprayed down, and I'm wondering if maybe a few parents elbowed their way in there, too. In downtown Boston, plenty of people gathered to wade in the Frog Pond spray pool. It just opened for the season today. The spray pool is now closed for the afternoon, but if you want to stop by, it's operating daily from 11 to 6.
When I was a kid, my grandmother and my aunt lived in the Back Bay, and on a day like today, although it doesn't happen that often, you go to the Christian Science Fountain, and it's private property, but you could run in and out, and it was like a huge sprinkler for downtown Boston. It was pretty
great.
Right
in the middle of the city, too.
Right in the middle of the city, and there is a wading and a spray pool that is still open right now.
Our Jericho Tran joins us live in Brighton, where the fun and cool factor at the Artesani Playground wading pool and spray deck is still going on. Jericho, I hope you didn't elbow any kids out of the way.
I was tempted to, but I didn't. Listen, these kids out here are living your childhood right now, JC. They have the spray pool, but like any good playground, you make friends, right? So I'm here with Elizabeth and Abby. They are prepared. Okay, now these are the best kids here. Now, Elizabeth and Abby, you guys both came prepared. You're wearing your hats, you have your water bottles, so I'm going to give you guys the heat test, okay? All right, some simple questions here. Did you guys apply sunscreen?
Yeah. Yes, we did.
Did you reapply sunscreen after you got wet?
No.
Uh-oh, all right. So they're going to reapply sunscreen. That's one thing you guys got to remember. Reapply the sunscreen because the sun is hot, and once you get wet, it all starts to come on off. All right. Now, I know you guys already have the water bottles, but I'm just going to make sure. Are you guys staying hydrated?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
All right. So let's walk around really quick. You guys were kind of giving me the lay of the land earlier, right? You kind of showing me where to stay cool. This is not just a park, okay? This is actually also a splash pad, too. Kind of show me around. What is your favorite part about this park here?
So I think my favorite part is like the pool area, because where you can just swim and just have fun, and then you can just go underwater and just feel the breeze of the water.
Abby, what about you?
Really good. Kind of also like the pool, since you can also stay cool, and then so you don't get
That sounds like a good summer to me, right? We stay by the pool, we stay cool. You can see the splash pad right over here. So the thing is this, you get to have fun at the playground, you go down the slide, you get kind of hot, right? And then you got to cool off. So then you got to go to the splash pad. How long have you guys been here today?
Probably a couple of hours.
A couple of hours, and it's been pretty hot, right? But you guys have been able to stay cool?
Yeah.
Now, Abby has a really cool water bottle. Abby, show me what your water bottle does.
So I can drink out of the water bottle over here, but I can also spray myself over here. So if I press this little button over here, it sprays.
It gives you a little mist. We got a little mist just now. So listen, this is how we are having fun and staying cool and safe in the heat. Elizabeth, Abby, thank you guys so much for giving me a tour of the park. I will send it back to you guys in that lovely air-conditioned studio.
One place you're not supposed to cool off is the Charles River. That's because it's not clean enough to swim in.
No, but we do see a lot of activity on the water, especially by the Esplanade. But take a look at this guy coming up here. He's seen hovering over the water.
Oh, that's cool.
Very cool. Laura Jasinski is with the nonprofit Charles River Conservancy. She explains why the Charles is just not yet ready for swimmers.
So I hate to be the bearer of bad news that you technically can't swim in the Charles River on any given day. Part of that is because we've done a lot to clean up the Charles River over the last several decades. And so while we've made strides, there's still work to be done to close the combined sewer overflows, which can release sewage into the Charles after really large rain events.
But if you are just itching to take a dip, then mark down Saturday, July 12th on your calendar. That's when you can take part in the annual City Splash event in the Charles. Now, you do have to register. You have to sign a waiver. Then officials perform water quality tests. And they set up a safe swim area with buoys, and that's where, folks can jump in.
The waiver makes me nervous, Stacey. I'm just saying.
Safety. It's just safety.
If swimming isn't an option to stay cool, your air conditioner breaks, or you don't have AC to begin with, our Brianna Borghi shows us some creative things you can do at home to make it through this heat wave.
It's hot. The humidity gets you, not just the heat.
I don't love it, but I don't hate it.
Oh, you just feel like doing nothing.
The humidity really gets you. I keep trying to drink water, but, I gotta get in the shade every couple of minutes because it's so hot.
I'm not going to complain about a thing. It's not raining. And it's not snowing.
Have water and wear a hat.
We've heard those tips before, but what about the hacks to stay cool? Well, I found a lot of them on social media, and the best part, you probably have everything you need already in your home. So let's go inside and I'll show you how it's done. For this first one, fill a bowl with ice and cold water. Place it in front of a standing fan, and voila, you have a DIY air conditioner and a Beyonce moment. Now for the tinfoil trick. You can tape this to your windows, shiny side out, to reflect the sun. That will help keep the room cool. And for the perfect night's sleep, put your pillowcase in the freezer for a couple hours, because nothing beats a pillow that's cold on both sides. So try these tips and thank me later.
Well, thank you now. Thank you.
We told you last night that this heat wave can also be a dangerous time for your pets, so it's important to identify signs of heat stroke right away.
So today we went to Cohasset to get a demonstration from a veterinarian so you know what to look for and what to do to cool down your four-legged friend.
Hi, I'm Dr. Diana Watkins from 143 Veterinary Services in Cohasset, and I'm here to talk about what to do if you're worried about heat stroke in your dog. So some of the things you have to worry about with high temperatures would be heat stroke, and that is defined in a dog as a temperature above 105 for their body temperature. Dogs can normally go up to 102.5. But classically, when they're in heat stroke, they have a temperature above 105. If they do, generally their symptoms are respiratory to start, so you'll see an increase in respiratory rate and effort. Nala here, as our model dog, does not have that. And then you will check their gum color. So Nala has a nice light pink gum color. That's good. When they first go into heat stroke, it will often become injected or bright red, and then when they're further along, it'll become pale or cyanotic, which is blue. If you're worried that your dog is in heat stroke, some of the things you can do are obviously take them out of the heat, put them in a dark room. If their temperature is above 105, they definitely need to go to the vet. And in the meantime, while you're safely transporting them to the vet, you would have somebody actively cooling them with a fan. And you can also, there's certain areas on the dog that it's most important to cool. You're going to get the best heat exchange. That would be their ears or their paws, or putting cooling over their shoulders. So I do have a little demonstration here. So this is a cooler water. And actually, where would you just put a hand on her? Okay. Okay, so you would wring out the water, but it would be quite cool. And you would, actually, you can wrap their paws if she'll tolerate it. Oh, we'll see. Put one over her little shoulders. And good girl, Nala. So if they're laying down, you can do it over their front paws. She might not. Yeah, here we go. Good girl. So doing like this. And then also cooling her ears. Let me just show you here. So cooling her ears. That's how you're going to get the quickest heat exchange and cool them. So dogs that are brachycephalic with the pushed-in noses are the most at risk for heat stroke. Nala does not have that much of a pushed-in nose, but bulldogs, French bulldogs, and English bulldogs are the highest, pugs highest at risk. So that's that.
Great tips, and Nala is the most well-behaved dog I have ever seen, and she gets poked and prodded for our demonstrations. Thank you.